Anthony, how are you? Let me try to get all of this situated here. I was not prepared. Miss Queen, how are you? Tried to have this prepared before I start, so we'll see how it goes today. Let's go lower. Yes, I'm trying to create a darkness here. I'm good. I'm good. It was a very productive day. I worked wearing Mr. Ballin's shirt, right? I am nowhere near Mr. Ballin, and that man has come a long, long way. In fact, I really want to get his book. So, I live in the mountains, Crows, so therefore flannel is a necessity. Thank you for asking. I'm really hoping that I have enough articles here to get through our time. So we will see. Hopefully it works out. Hello, Tiffany. How are you? Got my coffee. Oh man, last night I stayed up until about 1:30 in the morning. No central heating. Yikes, Crow. We can always just chat at the end. Oh really, Peach? Oh really? Ariel, I appreciate you, as always. Yeah, I stayed up extremely late last night to watch the election, which do I dye my hair? Absolutely not. Girl, look, if you could see, I've got all these grays up in here. I don't really have that many grays though, so I've been fortunate enough to, this is all natural. I've been blonde. I've done the box black hair. People thought I was Italian when I had my hair that color. Did Gerald Ford win, right? Wayne, I appreciate you so much for yesterday. So much. I hope you got some rest. I found out what happened and why my phone kept disconnecting last night. So I have a VPN on my device and it kept disconnecting. So when it would disconnect, it would cut off the stream. So that is what happened. I figured it out. Ariel, you did well too. I appreciate everyone that helped out with that because I was not watching that. I was literally, I had so many tabs open on my computer here because I was trying to do my actual job, have that stuff playing in the background. In my little setup, I was also trying to be sure that that was working. Everyone was freaking out because it wasn't doing its thing. And anyhow, it worked out. Everything worked out just the way it was supposed to. I guarantee you I was not the only one on the internet doing that. So Matthew, good to see you. I slept from 7. Oh, nice. That's good, Wayne. That is fantastic. Yeah, I realized I had coffee very, very, very late last night, and that's okay. Tiffany, what's wrong with my hair? Why are you asking if it's my phone is crackling? What's wrong with my phone? Hold on. I bet you I know what it is. Is it crackling now? Good morning from Iraq. Good evening from the United States, in Idaho specifically. Is it any better? It's like super silent. Well, Peach was saying, Carolyn, Peach was saying that it was crackly, and that's because I have my fan going in here because Miss Rainey vapes, and I don't like stagnant air. Stagnant air freaks me out. I have headphones on. Great, so you can hear me sniffle and everything. Yo, Daddy, how are you? I might give it just a moment or so before I start this. I've got a lot of tabs open, so Miss Rainey is trying to be prepared today and do this the right way. So, awesome, Donna. I appreciate you. Nope, it's crackling. Maybe it's you, Peach. Is it crackling for anybody else? Peach hates you. Why does Peach hate you? Greetings. Hello, gamer. How are you? DJ, how are you? Outfish, good to see you. I'm not muted. Yo, Daddy says I sound great, so nope, not on my end. Okay. Sudden hang-up calls freak me out. 99, good to see you. Outfish, your stream was very long today. Thank you for all of that. I do want to ask, because I did end up getting a phone call, did you actually catch anything at that pond today? Curious. Here waiting for Black Lions Live to start. Oh, well, I appreciate you stopping by before that. Thank you. Try refreshing YouTube so we can hear. Armand, I think it's you. Nope. Oh, dang it. No fish. Misfit, how are you? There's no problems on my end. Okay. Armand, maybe you need to get out of your app and like swipe up and then swipe back. Sometimes that helps. I don't know what it is. I know that my YouTube, I have to do that continuously on everybody's live. And then what's really weird is I'll swipe back in and it'll take me to the very beginning of their live or somewhere in the middle, but yet the chat stays the same. I don't know. It's weird. Okay. Subi, hello. But it's not super noticeable. Okay, well, we are, 8 minutes in. So hopefully everyone is here that wants to be. And if you're not, well, that's too bad for you. So, all right, guys. So those that are new here, I was going to do this yesterday, but due to the election, and that was going to take up most of everyone's time, those that are in the US or those that care, I decided to push this off until today. So, although it probably would have been nice to change things up, but either way, I typically find some true crime things that are happening right now, currently in the US, and I read about them. So if you're new, welcome. I do want to warn everyone, as always, that the things we talk about here are unaliving. They could be gruesome. Sometimes they could involve children. There is SA, trauma, things of that sort. So if those things bother you, I completely understand if you don't want to stick around, but I want to be sure that you are aware of that before I do that, so you're not surprised. And I've got to figure out how to do some editing, which I'm not a genius with all of that, to kind of do that trigger warning where it's there. But I just want to be sure everyone is aware. So we will start with, let's see, I don't know, I probably shouldn't start with I'm crackling again. How am I crackling? There's literally no noise in here. Hi, fools, if you're lurking. So I'm going to switch some of these around just because it looks like the very first one I chose was one about a child, and I don't want to do the child one first. So we will do this one. So I did pull this from Law and Crime, one of my favorite places to find these types of articles. And this one, the title is Man Who Used Dating App to Lure Truck Driver to His Death Learns His Fate. Okay, a Georgia man will spend the rest of his life in prison for using an online dating site to lure a truck driver to his death. Mark Antonio White, who is 23, was found guilty of felony murder, aggravated assault, armed robbery, and possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony for the shooting death of a 39-year-old named Garcia Daniel Gaddis. We pray that this verdict and the justice it serves provides some solace and to its victims, family, and loved ones. The defendant took advantage of Mr. Gaddis, and justice has been served. Hold on, I gotta put this down a little bit. My desk is too high. Gaddis was shot and killed on October 21st, 2021, a Thursday. The following Sunday, police responded to a noise complaint, found his body shot once in the head in a Dodge Ram 1500 parked in a neighborhood. His cell phone, wallet, and car keys were missing. On the night he was last seen, Gaddis was contacted on the tagged dating app by a user. Tagged? I've never heard of that dating app. Who police ultimately identified as White. In the online exchange between the two, Gaddis had agreed to meet White near the Little Swanee Point neighborhood. When he was near, White told Gaddis to pick him up near the pool area. Surveillance cameras showed Gaddis's truck driving through the neighborhood shortly after 11 p.m. and stopping to pick up a black man with shoulder-length dreadlocks from the parking lot of the pool clubhouse. Minutes after the truck was seen driving towards the entrance to the neighborhood, the same dreadlocked man was seen walking from the entrance back to the pool clubhouse. Police found a shell casing in the cab of Gaddis's truck and matched 3 shell casings from a gun fired in a shooting on July 19th, 2021, in which White was accused of shooting at his ex-girlfriend and her mother. The mother kept the shell casings and gave them to police when investigators contacted her in the Gaddis case. Authorities said police body camera footage from an eviction from a townhome across the pool peak weeks later showed a man inside the unit dressed like the figure captured on video the night Gaddis was killed. White was arrested in June of 2022. Gaddis's cousin, Mercedes, said that the victim was loved and that he was a truck driver who also drove for Uber on his time off because he loved meeting new people. And that's the end of that one. Well, that was not, I'm telling you, how these end, it drives me insane. Beer Gut, good to see you. I think that's pretty cool, though, that his mom ratted him out. I'm not going to lie. I don't know why they all just stopped, Carolyn. I'm just like, that's the end. That is the end of the article. He was arrested in June of 2022. And then Mercedes says something about him, and that's it. I'd love to tell you that there was more, but that's all I have for you. I don't know why. It would be cool to be a journalist for this company, just to I don't know, give a little more to the world. But yeah. Okay, so poor journalism. Yeah, very much so. What happened to stories that are supposed to have a beginning, a middle, and a closing? Isn't that what we learned in English class? And it's been years since I've done that, but isn't there, a body that you're supposed to follow when you write a damn story? All right, so this one is going to involve a child, a very, very young child. And Kurt, we're going to do that one last. That is the last one. I am going to do that one, but we're doing it last. So this one does involve a child. Please be advised of that. I've only read the headlines of these. I have not read the entire article. We're reading them for the first time together. Most of you know this, but some of you are new. The title reads, Heartbreaking and Unimaginable. Mom gave 2-year-old daughter to drug dealer while buying meth. Girl hasn't been seen since. A 39-year-old woman in Oklahoma has been arrested in connection with the disappearance of her young daughter more than 2 years ago, allegedly giving the then 2-year-old girl to a man selling her drugs. Ashley Rowland was taken into custody last week and charged with child abandonment in connection with the disappearance of her daughter, who authorities say has not been seen since 2022. According to a report from Oklahoma City, agents with the Oklahoma Department of Human Services in April of 2023 were tasked with taking custody of the toddler, but were unable to locate her. The agents were able to locate and get in touch with Rowland at a residence in Moore, Oklahoma, which is located about 10 miles south of Oklahoma City. When they made contact with Rowland, she allegedly claimed that the little girl was staying at her father's home in Georgia. However, authorities said they were later able to determine that Rowland was lying about the whereabouts of her daughter and contacted the Moore Police Department. During a subsequent interview with detectives, Rowland allegedly admitted that in April of 2022, she gave her daughter to an individual named Carlos. She further stated she believed it was possible that Carlos could be the girl's biological father, but she did not actually know. Rowland allegedly said that she had not seen the child since giving her to Carlos, who was selling her methamphetamine at the time. She was also not able to tell investigators anything about the man except that she believed he was planning to travel to Mexico. And he did not have, getting text messages. And he did not have the identification papers for the child. Police told KOTV that the child would currently be 5 years old, but they do not know if she is still in the country or even whether she is dead or alive. This is a very active case that we are working diligently on, the department said in a statement to the station. All leads are being investigated in relation to the location of the child. If you have any information on this case, please contact the Moore Police Department. Oklahoma DHS reportedly told KOCO that the department cannot comment on specifics of the case, but said the entire situation was heartbreaking and unimaginable. Oh, this part infuriates me. Rowland is currently being held in the Oklahoma County Detention Center on a $3,000 bond. Just $3,000. Just $3,000. What is wrong here? Nobody's internet is freezing. What is wrong with you? You're in the middle of the ocean. Hi, how are you? I gotta get my little piece of paper out so I can write things down for you. Hold, please. I need to write some things down. Hello, hello. Hold on. $300 bill. Yeah, exactly, Peach. Exactly. So her daughter is missing. She says she gave him to a drug dealer, and her bond is set at $3,000. That's the problem here. Dennis. I'm writing some notes. What's going on? What's a $30,000 bill? No, it's a well, yeah, still $3,000 for a child that you have, but yet don't have it. Doubled what? Okay, anyway, apparently you guys are talking to each other, so. The dog is very upset. I hear her whining. Fools, the baby gate arrived today. So we have a small hallway that when Miss Rainey has to go work at the bar, I don't want to keep her in a room. So I thought I would corner off this little part of the hallway. And I have a feeling she's going to learn how to jump very quickly. And she's upset with me right now because I put the baby gate up and I can hear her whining. But she's been with me all day and has all the loves. So, Peach, I don't want to hear anything that you have to say that I'm neglecting my baby, because I'm not. Just letting you know. So we're going to see how it's going to work out. Shock collar. Yeah, she has a shock collar, but I'll be at work. So I'm not going to shock her because she's whining, because I don't have her next to me. I only use that in very extreme circumstances, like when she's chasing the deer across the yard and I'm calling her and she's like, no, I'm just going to do what I'm doing and I don't have to listen to you. That's the only time I use it. I did get her one of those, Peach, you got to stop. Please and thank you. Shot color. Furry, I appreciate you for stopping in. Yes, I'm going to definitely look into that one. So, on Impala. Yeah, I'll say the rest, but I probably shouldn't. So, anyhow, what was I going to say? Oh, I also got her one of those, it looks like a flashlight sort of, but it sends the high frequency noise to them. And that's only when she's barking right in my face or barking at me. So she's learning the things, guys. She's still a pain in the butt. She did good on the drive today, so that was great. She likes to jump into my seat when I get out of the Jeep. And then when I get into the Jeep, she knows to get back onto her side. So that's great. Did I call Fools a baby? When? I called them baby cakes, but I didn't say that here. What's wrong? Oh, chaos. Yes. I'm talking about the dog. Okay, let's move on, guys. We're getting sidetracked here. I have one for you about the girl. Zara. Why do I feel like I've heard that name before? I am the baby. Yeah, sometimes he is, but I feel like I could be more of one than him, so. Wow, I'm a dog. She didn't know what I was talking about. She was dealing with something else. Okay, moving on, friends. There's just no excuse. Nighttime hunter shot woman thinking he heard deer. Which, by the way, I got very excited today. I'm getting sidetracked a little bit, but not really. I walked outside, took Chaos out so she could use the restroom. And across the way, there's like 80 head of elk out there. I'm like, oh, this is so majestic. I start taking a video. I get all excited. And I have my old phone out there with me because I was watching Misfits live. So I'm out there with the old phone and the camera quality isn't as good as Fool's is. I know you're going to say it and rub it in my face, but I didn't have my newer iPhone. So it's all splotchy or whatever. So I'm hanging out with Chaos and all of a sudden, loud shot. The elk disperse. The hunters were over there. So they totally ruined everything. And then they shot again. And yeah, they got something, but it was just annoying because it was just majestic to see all of them and how exciting it was. And then some dumb hunters are over there casing the damn lot just to get an elk, which in my opinion, that's not hunting when it's out in the open right there next to somebody's house. But anyhow, moving on, it just goes with the story. So there's just no excuse. Nighttime hunter shot woman thinking he heard deer. A young South Carolina man is charged with fatally shooting a woman and injuring her husband while the couple was on a nighttime walk. Christopher McDonald, who is 20, allegedly thought, based on the sounds of leaves and branches, that he heard a deer, according to the arrest warrant obtained by Charleston News. Instead, deputies said he struck Lori Wind, 54, and her husband. The South Carolina Department of Natural Resources said that Wind, who they did not name, died at the scene while her husband was taken to the hospital. Christopher McDonald, 20, has been arrested and charged by the county sheriff's office with assault and battery of a high and aggravated nature and involuntary manslaughter, they wrote. We have also charged McDonald with criminal neglect, use of a firearm resulting in death, criminal neglect, use of a firearm resulting in great bodily harm, and night hunting. This remains an active investigation. The shooting reportedly happened Tuesday night on Sawmill Branch Trail in the town, Somerville, at about 8:15 p.m. McDonald had been out illegally hunting, deputies said. He was armed with a 20-gauge shotgun and opened fire 3 or 4 times, they said. Investigators claim they were able to identify him as the suspect because of information from an informant. McDonald surrendered and admitted he was in the area of the shooting at the time of the incident. You need to always be aware of any collateral damage that could occur in the process of using that weapon. And the capabilities of the weapon is important because each weapon has a particular set of capabilities. Chief Deputy Sam Richardson of the County Sheriff's Office reportedly said. He said that the town recommended people not to use the trail after dark. He also recommended that anyone in the county going out after dark have clear lighting. Just make sure you've got clear lighting where you've got some lighting available. I would say reflective tape or something like that, so if you lose visibility, that you're seen. Carolyn, that's how that one ends. I have no idea when he's going to court, but this was November 3rd. And yeah. Although most people know when you're out in the dark, obviously don't wear dark clothing either. So Matiko, how are you? Dev, how are you? Good to see everyone. Anyone did I miss? Andy. Well, hello, Andy. Sissy, how are you? Okay, sorry, I'm just going back. Okay, I think I got everyone. Anything else? Yes, we're going to continue. Crystal, hello, how are you? I appreciate you, Crystal. That is a very nice compliment. It is the lighting. I'm in the dark, so you can't see my pores. I'm kidding, sort of. Web Shooter, how are you? Thank you. I appreciate you for stopping by. Okay, guys. Let me see. Hold, please. 1.3 what? Oh, wow. Look at that. Miss Rainey is just on a roll. Because, 4 days ago, I was looking at my community page. 4 days ago, I had just rolled over that 1K mark. So this is very exciting. Very exciting. I hope this picks up pace. I don't know if anyone saw I made a little short today. I don't know how short it was because Fools reminded me that YouTube likes to add 2 seconds. And I'm going to try to do those. I don't know how I like them or how those are going to work as my face, but I'm hoping that I can try to incorporate some of this into the shorts and it be really, really short. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it works out. I know. Thank you, Webb. I know it's a very small accomplishment, but considering I started this not very long ago, not very long ago at all. And I didn't have to do anything special to make it happen. Sorry. I didn't have to be like some other people on the internet. I'll just say that. And I mean that in the nicest way possible. Okay. Will you please refer? Yes, Kurt, actually I did see an extension article on the one that I'm going to read, and I will get into that because I did write something down about that, and I was actually going to talk about it and then talk about that. So absolutely, that was planned, my friend. Love you, Wayne. Appreciate you as always. Family is very important. So, hello, Henry. And I like the spelling of my name. Thank you. That's fun. Okay, so this next one does involve another child, and this is just a trigger warning. Hello, Tori. This is just a little bit of a trigger warning. As always, it is going to involve a child, an unaliving of a child. So if that is too much for you, I totally understand. Appreciate you for stopping in if you decide to leave. So it doesn't make any sense, Cincy. The way these journalists write for, these editors write for Law and Crime drives me insane. I should probably write them and tell them all about it, but I don't need any more jobs on my resume, right now at least. All right, so this title reads, "We Don't Have a Son No More." Alaska mom allegedly kills her 5-year-old son with a kettlebell weight, tells the boy's father in a voicemail. All right. We don't have a son no more. These chilling words allegedly came over in a voicemail from an Alaskan mother, Cedar Sarton, after she murdered her 5-year-old son and then called the boy's father to tell him about it, according to police. Robert, this is really bad. You seriously need to come over here right now, Sarton told Robert in one of 3 voice messages she left for him after the alleged killing, according to her criminal complaint. Please don't freak out, Sarton allegedly said. We don't have a son no more. Officials with the Fairbanks Police Department told Law and Crime on Tuesday that Sarton not only beat her child to death with a 20-pound kettlebell-style weight on October 13th, she also allegedly attacked his lifeless body with a knife afterwards. It was a pretty horrific scene, the public information officer Teal noted. The initial responding officer found the child dead on the bed and observed injuries that were consistent with him being cut or stabbed. Sarton, who's 43, attempted to take her own life after the alleged attack, too bad she didn't and didn't succeed, on her son, slicing her forearms, neck, and head before calling the father, and then police and the following day at around 10 a.m. on October 14th to reveal what had happened. She called 911, reporting someone had crushed her son's brain with a 20-pound weight, the document says. The defendant indicated her son was definitely dead. In response to the dispatcher's questions about what had happened, the defendant stated she did not know. She stated the last time she had her son alive was when he was falling asleep in her arms at approximately 1 or 2 a.m. First responders transported Sarton, a career criminal with more than 20 arrests on her record, including charges of felony theft, assault, criminal mischief, and reckless endangerment against her own son, to a local medical facility where she was charged on Monday and remained hospitalized. She's been hospitalized since the incident. We're hoping this week that she'll actually be arrested. According to Sarton's complaint, she left her voice messages for the father after he failed to answer, including one from her hospital bed. Sorry. I might die over here. I'm not playing, she said in one alleged voicemail. I don't know if I can make it to the door. Please come over, please. Robert, I'm not playing. I couldn't save our son. They did this to us. In the message from the hospital, Sarton allegedly called Robert and said, I know you're mad as hell at me because he died on my watch. I called you, okay? I called you. I knew something was wrong. I'm not blaming you. I'm just saying. In the complaint, Fairbanks police say Gagner told investigators that Sarton had been acting differently in the days leading up to their son's death, and her actions were inconsistent with her normal demeanor. He and Sarton have joint custody per the complaint, and it was Sarton's turn to watch the boy. Mr. Gagner dropped off the child the evening of October 13th, consistent with the custody agreement, the complaint says. Gagner reported that the defendant's behavior seemed off. Court records show that Sarton has a violent past, including a 2022 conviction for reckless endangerment against her son. For that incident, cops say she grabbed onto his head and twisted it when he was around 16 months old. The boy's cause of death, according to his autopsy, was significant blunt force trauma to his head and brain. Multiple injuries consistent with the sharp object, including a stab wound to his right chest, were also reported, but these were from Sarton's attack afterwards. No bleeding was observed to be inside the chest cavity of the stab wound, suggesting the injury occurred post-mortem. For cops handling the case, they told Law and Crime it's been especially hard dealing with details like this. This is definitely a rare type of case for us. It is much more horrific than what our officers usually deal with. Of course, responding to a dead child in any circumstance is very difficult and tragic, but in a case where they've been murdered like this, it's even more so. Family and friends have set up a GoFundMe to help deal with any funeral costs and the loss, which included a photo and description of the boy in his obituary. Sarton is facing a first-degree murder charge, according to police. She has not been yet given a court date. They did have some things that they said about the child, but I refuse to read that because I'm not trying to cry. So I skipped over that. Thank you. I appreciate that. And Fool sent me a message, so I gotta check something. Miss Rainey reads well. I noticed, Furry, that if I read slower, that I don't stumble over my words as much, but thank you. So let me look at something real quick, guys. Fools, are you still here? I'm trying to understand with that message if that was supposed to be a yay or a nay. So are they supposed to be blocked or not? That way I can check. The next one. I don't know about that, ma'am. Okay. This is weird. What's wrong with YouTube? Okay, so I'm in my YouTube thing right now. Furry, I won't read that one today, but I will absolutely do something like that the next time, if you don't mind, just because I have this set up. Typically, I only like to do these for an hour, just so everyone everyone else who goes live, they have their, I try not to step over everyone else. So Fools, what's really interesting is I am on my YouTube studio. It shows I have no moderators, nobody blocked, I have nothing. So I don't know what's happening. So I'm just not going to worry about that right now, and I will look into it in a little bit. So unsure. Don't know why, but that's very strange because I know I got people blocked on my stuff. Coffee. This is just coffee, friends. Well, like I said, I just logged into Studio and it says I have no moderators, and I'm clearly looking at moderators. So anyhow, all right. If any of you know about this case took place, Kurt, we're not on yours yet. Back in the 90s, and this was the clown killer. So this is a follow-up to that one, which I'm hoping it goes into. Yes, it does go into the details of this. So if you've never heard this and you're new to it, this is kind of a famous case, just of how it kind of panned out. So killer clown murderer who delivered flowers and balloons to husband's then wife before shooting her in the face gets released from prison. So, a woman in Florida who dressed up as a clown and murdered the wife of her current husband while she and him were unmarried and allegedly having an affair was released from prison over the weekend after copying a plea deal last year. Sheila Warren, 61, is officially free after spending 7 years behind bars following her arrest in 2017 for the decades-old killing in Palm Beach County, according to Florida Department of Corrections. First of all, I did not know she only served 7 years. That's ridiculous. Records viewed by Law and Crime show that she had been serving a 12-year sentence on May 16, 2023 for the fatal shooting of 40-year-old Marlene Warren, and was credited for time served and good behavior, leading to her release on Saturday. This sparked numerous headlines and articles about Keen Warren, dubbing her Florida's killer clown, who managed to get a first-degree murder charge dropped down to second degree thanks to issues with the DNA samples, dead witnesses, and other problems that Palm Beach prosecutors reportedly faced before trial. Keen Warren, this is the lady, despite accepting a plea, has maintained her innocence while behind bars. We are absolutely thrilled that Miss Keen Warren has been released from prison and is returning to her family, her attorney, Greg Rosenfeld, told NBC. As we've stated from the beginning, she did not commit this crime. Palm Beach County State Attorney sang a much different tune about the Keen Warren in his response to her release. Sheila Keen Warren will always be an admitted convicted murderer and will wear that stain for the rest of her life. Before her plea deal, authorities alleged that Keen Warren wore a clown costume and clown makeup to the home of Marlene Warren on May 26, 1990, to deliver a set of balloons and flowers to her. Keen Warren went to the front door and rang Marlene Warren's doorbell, prompting the woman to answer and accept her gifts before being shot in the face by Keen Warren. Keen Warren's connection to Marlene Warren stemmed from an alleged relationship that Keen Warren was said to be having with Marlene's husband at the time. Michael Warren, with family and friends telling local media that Marlene Warren had found out about it. This alleged affair later blossomed into a marriage after Marlene Warren's death. One of the key pieces of evidence against Keen Warren, according to prosecutors, was an alleged getaway car that she ditched after being seen in it earlier at a Publix grocery store. Orange hair fibers were allegedly found inside the vehicle, along with DNA samples, but the genes turned out to be both male and female. Another major issue with the car was that the two witnesses, including Marlene Warren's son, who was home at the time of the shooting, told police they didn't believe it belonged to the person who shot Marlene Warren and sped away. An employee at the restaurant run by Marlene Warren and Michael Warren, meanwhile, told detectives that Keen Warren, who worked at the restaurant as a waitress, had dressed up as a clown one year for Halloween and provided investigators with a picture. I hate how these end. Attempts to reach Keen Warren's lawyer for comment on Monday was unsuccessful. I could have sworn that they had, I thought they went to the costume shop, and because I've listened to a podcast on this, and they went to a costume shop, and this particular person, maybe this is a different one, this person went in like at the very end before they were closing and was just like, I need a clown costume, and they tried to give them clown shoes or something like that, and they didn't need the shoes, they just needed the outfit. But what is happening here? Please read the case of Marlene. I will write that down. Marianne. Boy, I can read. All right, that was that one. So we have a murderer on the streets in Florida. FYI, if you're nearby. She is an old lady. She is about 61 years old, and ooh, okay. I am moving on to the next one. So this next one, this one is coming to you from, did I not pick one here? That's fine. That's fine, because we're getting close to time. So this one is coming from Court TV. And this is South Carolina versus Craig Lewis, which is the burned alive murder trial. Hi, Savannah, how are you? So this one is very, very, very short because we are only on day one of the trial. So Walterboro, South Carolina. A South Carolina man is standing trial on charges he killed his wife by setting her on fire, causing injuries that took her life 10 months later. I'm good, Savannah. Craig Anthony Lewis, 47, is charged with murder and arson in the death of his wife, Terry Lewis. Police say Craig assaulted his wife over 2 days, beginning on January 16th, 2019. In documents reviewed by Court TV, police said that Craig hit her with personal weapons and the butt of a firearm shotgun, breaking the weapon over her hip. Terry was bleeding and had trouble walking after the incident. The next day, January 17th, police say Craig lit his wife on fire inside their home in an attempt to kill her. The front of Terry's body suffered severe burns, and she succumbed to her injuries 10 months later. Terry's daughter, Lee Ann Cronkley, said that her mother began fighting with Craig on January 17th because Terry told him that she was leaving. The argument allegedly turned physical, and Terry said that Craig violently ate her before throwing a rag or a shirt lit on fire at her. Terry said that when she tried to throw the rag away, Craig would throw it back until she caught on fire before finally stepping on her hand and crushing it. Despite a criminal history with prior convictions, Craig was granted a $100,000 surety bond with ankle monitoring at a bond hearing and has been free since February 26th, 2019. So, what is today? Today's the 6th. This trial just started yesterday, so there isn't a whole lot. I mean, there's videos, but obviously we're on live, so that's not something we're going to do. The jury hears opening statements, and the forensic pathologist testified that Terry had burns covering about 38% of her body, and the cause of her death was delayed complications of thermal injury. So that's what's been introduced. So of course this is ongoing right now. So there is that. New episodes on Sunday. Oh, I gotta write that down. Let out on more crimes. Yeah, furry. It's insane to see the lack thereof, the punishment for these crimes. I'm floored. I don't want to say Idaho is still the same, but I feel like there's always that, there's a joke here in Idaho where they say, come on vacation, leave on probation, because Idaho just gets everyone for everything. I don't know if other states have that little saying, but I've never been to jail, so I couldn't go with, I couldn't tell you anything about it. All right, I've got 2 more, and then I've got one big one, and I promise you I'm done, and you can live the rest of your lives happily and do all the things. All right, so this one is also from Court TV. Charged with wife's murder, man fakes kidnapping and also poisons his daughter. Gaston County, North Carolina. A former paramedic in North Carolina accused of murdering his wife and poisoning his daughter will remain behind bars after being denied bond at a hearing on Monday. Joshua Hunsucker, 40, is charged with first-degree murder of his wife, Stacy, who died on September 23, 2018. Joshua told People that Stacy died of a heart attack and immediately had to have her cremated. He also filed a claim for a $250,000 life insurance payout just days after his wife's death, according to court documents. Stacy had been an organ donor, and as a result, a vial of her blood was kept in a file. Investigators tested the blood, citing Joshua's odd behavior, and found that she had been poisoned. Don't even ask me to try to say that. Oh, hey Mike, how are you? Anyway, it's a liquid that is found in eye drops. In a bond motion reviewed by Court TV, prosecutors said that before Stacy's death, Joshua told 2 former co-workers that if he killed someone, he would be doing so using Visine or other eye drops. Investigators say that Joshua, believing police were closing in on him for his wife's murder, began behaving erratically to shift attention away from himself. On November 26, 2019, days before he was arrested, Joshua allegedly set fire to a medical helicopter while he was on board working as a paramedic. The helicopter made an emergency landing. Joshua is facing charges of burning personal property in that incident. Days after he was arrested and charged with his wife's murder, Joshua bonded out of jail on December 24th, 2019. Prosecutors say on February 4th, 2023, Joshua again tried to distract from his case when he staged his own kidnapping and assault. Joshua told police that he had stopped to change a flat tire when he was pistol whipped in the head, zip-tied, and injected with an unknown substance. Joshua told police that his attacker was John Robinson, his late wife's father. Police found no evidence that Robinson attacked Joshua, but rather discovered that Joshua had been stalking and harassing his former in-laws. The harassment included driving by their home, following them, and sending packages to their house. At a July hearing, a judge determined that Joshua had been neglecting both of his children, ages 9 and 11, and that he had allegedly abused the 11-year-old boy. 11-year-old. I don't know why I said boy. It doesn't say that. Prosecutors say Joshua poisoned the 11-year-old by putting the same drops into her drink. The child identifies as PH in court documents, was taken to the hospital with low blood pressure, low heart rate, extreme exhaustion, and constricted blood vessels. Prosecutors said that in addition to those drops, another drug commonly prescribed for depression and not approved for use in children was also found in her system. The same drug was allegedly found in Joshua's truck. Court TV has covered a murder involving eye drops before. There was a man by the name of Jesse who was convicting of killing her friend Lynn, who died of the same type of poisoning. In that case, the victim claimed that they enjoyed drinking that solution. I know, Furry, I'm sorry. It's definitely, and that's the end of that article. Subi, are you headed out? Oh, I'm sorry, Subi. Have a good night. I appreciate you for stopping in, even though you're dealing with what you're dealing with. So I appreciate you. Thank you. Yeah, Furry, it's really difficult to talk about the children's cases, but unfortunately it happens a lot more than, than we'd like. And it's important. I think a lot of the times we don't talk about things that are going on. And if you see something, say something, right? And, even abuse of women or men, right? We tend to say, mind your business or don't talk about it. But if we don't speak up and something happens, is it our fault? Is it their fault? I don't know. It's just one of those things. And that goes with children, obviously, as well. So, okay, so the last one, Kurt, who I hope is still in the chat with us. He, are you a lawyer or reporter? Web shooter? I wanted to be a homicide detective. And fortunately, I'm not going to say unfortunately, I was a young mom with 2 kids. So I did not get the opportunity to be who I wanted to be. So this is me living out my dream vicariously through the internet and through you. That's all it is. I've always had an interest in crime before crime was cool, I guess. So, all right. So this one, Kurt, yes. Hello, Kurt. So Kurt asked if I would cover this case. Kurt, remind me, you said that you had answered newspaper ads and you lived in the area, but you didn't actually go there, right? I don't think you did, but I just want to make sure that I'm clear on the right information that you gave me. So this one happened in Oregon, and I'll just wait. That's a Nas song. I'm like, that's a Nas song. I know that song. I actually really like that song. Ohio. Absolutely. Well, I'm sure you know who it is, silly. Otherwise, you wouldn't have sang it. Okay, I'll get this started. Kurt, feel free to go ahead and chat and answer those questions and fill everyone in while I read this. It's not extremely long, but we're over an hour already, so I'll get it going. So Susan Monica. Now, before I get started on this, Susan is going by Susan, but Susan is, from what I read in another article, is actually transgender. So Susan was born a male to begin with, and then goes by Susan. I don't know if there was ever a change along the way there, but it's important that I at least tell you that part of this. I don't know if it makes a difference because the crime is the crime, and it's just part of what you should know. So Susan Monica, the Oregon farmer who murdered 2 of her employees and fed them to her pigs. In 2014, the families of Robert Hanley and Stephen Delicino, I'm going to say it's Delicino, were horrified when investigators searching Susan Monica's farm discovered the 2 men's partial remains on the property. Man, I need chapstick. In 2013, Robert Hanley answered an ad on Craigslist. Mike, you're on the same wavelength here. A woman named Susan Monica was looking for hired help on her property, which she had turned from 20 acres of undeveloped woodlands into a small farm complete with a barn, a home, and livestock. She even ran a wrought iron fence and gate business called White Queen Construction. Go figure. Monica seemed legitimate, and Hanley had been looking for an excuse to revel in the peace and quiet of a simple life. He began working for Susan Monica and doing various odd jobs around the property: carpentry, manual labor, repairs, etc. But Robert Hanley's children grew concerned when they stopped hearing from him. On January 1st, 2014, they drove out to the property to look for him, only for Monica to tell them that he had quit 4 months earlier. They would later discover that their father had not quit at all. In fact, he was still on the property, buried in the dirt after Monica's pigs had a feeding frenzy on his body. And he was not the only one. Susan Monica was born Stephen Buchanan in California on July 8th, 1948. Little is known of her life growing up, but records show that she enlisted with the United States Navy during the Vietnam War. After being honorably discharged from service, however, Monica began living as a woman. Her post-military career saw her working as a successful engineer before buying property in 1991, a 20-acre rural farm in Weimar, Oregon, where she raised pigs, chickens, and ran her company, White Queen Construction. On her own, Monica oversaw the construction of a barn for her livestock to live in, and by 2013 had plans to build a house on the property. That's when she met Robert Hanley. As Hanley's sons, Jesse, told Oxygen, "My dad and Susan Monica had a deal. My dad would get part cash and be able to stay on the property. My dad agreed to build a house from the bottom up." But in December 2013, the Hanleys realized they hadn't heard from their father in well over 2 months. Naturally, this caused some worry among the family, which prompted their visit to Monica's farm. When they arrived, however, Monica told them that Hanley just basically left and asked his children to get his things out of his trailer. But they knew something was amiss as soon as they saw the trailer. His leather jacket was there. His dog was still running around, and all of his tools were there, Jesse said. It made the hairs on the back of my neck stand up. After the Erie visit, the Hanleys filed a missing persons report with the Jackson County Sheriff's Office, but they soon learned even more concerning news. It had been months since anyone had seen Robert Hanley, and since he paid for everything in cash, it wasn't easy to tell where he had gone and when. The only person who might have any clue, investigators figured, was the last person to have seen him, Susan Monica. Monica told investigators that Hanley had worked for her for roughly 6 months before a personal matter pulled him away. She said that Hanley had received a phone call from a family member who told him she had been assaulted, after which Monica claimed he began drinking heavily and his behavior became erratic. After some time, according to Monica, Hanley told her that he would be going away, but asked if she would look after his dog. However, there was a significant flaw in Monica's story. Robert Hanley's electronic benefits card, so EBT, for those of you that don't know, that's a food stamp card, a benefits card. Go buy some groceries, do your thing. Was used. Robert Hanley's electronics benefits transfer card was used in December 2013 at a nearby Walmart, months after he allegedly left Monica's property. Finding the situation to be highly suspicious, police conducted a search warrant of Susan Monica's property, where Detective Julie Denley said they found what appeared to be a human leg that had been severed mid-femur down to the toes. Then, when police questioned Monica, the story took another strange turn. Monica told investigators that during the fall of 2013, she came upon her pigs one day in the middle of a feeding frenzy. When she looked closer to see what they were eating, she said that it was none other than Robert Hanley, lying on the ground with his guts all over the place. Believing he was still alive and suffering, Monica claimed to have shot Hanley to put him out of his misery. I do that for my animals, and this was the first time I did it for a human, being that I knew it was wrong. But if it were one of my pigs suffering out there, I would have done the same thing, she said. But when police asked Monica what else they might find on her property, she broke down, and it immediately became clear that Hanley was not, as she had claimed, the first person she killed. On a map of her property, Susan Monica pointed to a spot in the middle, marked it with an X, and told investigators that's where they would find Steve. Steve, or Stephen Delacino, was another former handyman of Monica's who worked on her property in the summer of 2012, a full year before Robert Hanley arrived. Monica had an explanation, of course, for why Delacino's body was buried on her property. According to her, while Delacino was working for her, she noticed that 2 of her guns were missing. She did some poking around and found them among Delacino's things. But when she confronted him about it, they got into a sort of wrestling match. At some point during the bout, she claimed that one of the guns went off and struck Delacino in the back of the head. Monica said that at one point during the struggle, she had grabbed another rifle and, standing over Delacino, shot him dead. Having admitted to at least 2 unreported killings on her property, detectives asked Susan Monica if there were any other dead bodies on her property that they might encounter. She told me that if she told me about the 17 others, that she would spend the rest of her life in jail, said Detective Eric Henderson. Monica's claims about putting Hanley out of his misery or killing Delacino in self-defense carried little weight when it came time to examine the case in court. Firstly, these claims do little to explain why Monica hacked the bodies to bits with an axe. Moreover, her stories kept changing. While she initially claimed to have shot Delacino in self-defense, she later claimed he repeatedly shot himself in the head. And none of her stories matched forensic evidence collected at the scene. Of course, it was difficult to prove conclusively that Monica had not acted as she claimed. It's entirely possible that she came upon Hanley being eaten by her pigs and ended his life out of pity, just as it is possible that she and Delacino did get into an altercation. With that said, prosecutors repeatedly pointed out that Hanley's remains were found scattered across the property and in plastic bags, and Delacino suffered 3 to 4 gunshot wounds to the head. However, any chance Monica had of persuading the jury of her innocence likely disappeared when her strange behavior worked its way into the courtroom. On one less bizarre end of the spectrum, Monica appeared in court in various wigs, an odd behavior the defense noted but not criminal. Then a cellmate testified that the defendant signed a birthday card from the sweetest murderer in Jackson County, though Monica claimed it was merely a reference to the crimes for which she was charged. Monica also personally cross-examined the detective assigned to her case, Eric Henderson, despite having a defense team, and loudly proclaimed to the jury that she would like to demonstrate how I shot Delacino for 10 seconds before putting her hands in the air and doing just that. In the end, Susan Monica was found guilty of the murders of Robert Hanley and Stephen Delacino and sentenced to life in prison with the possibility of parole after a minimum of 50 years. I don't know how else I can put it. You valued pigs more than you value people. It may sound harsh, but you are a cold-blooded killer. And I do want to tell you, there was another article that I read. So when she surprised everyone in court, when she was wearing the different wigs, because she was so fond of those pigs, when she was on the stand, she asked Rogue River, which is the community, to donate money to have her pigs butchered and have the meat donated to the Rogue River Community Center, which is absolutely disgusting. And they did not accept that offer, obviously, due to the circumstances. So anyhow, that was Kurt's story. Thank you, Kurt, for recommending that one. All the other ones, of course, were ones that I just came across and found on the internet. So anyhow, we are well over an hour, my loves, and I'm sure there are other entertaining things to do, like playing with your dogs and going to sleep for work in the morning. So how could you say no to bacon? Yeah, Ariel, I think I'm good on probably eating bacon for a long time after that, because you just, no thank you. Oh, thank you, Web Shooter. I appreciate you. I'm working on it. I'm working on trying to figure this all out. I feel like I'm getting better at it, but Fools is going live in 2 weeks. You've got a week and a half, sir. Wisconsin is home of the serial killers. One more, Mercedes. Furry, I don't have any more. And you're going to wait on yours because I wrote it down just for you. So you get to wait until the next one, which, what is tomorrow? Tomorrow's Thursday. I could maybe do it Friday, but Friday everyone likes to party and Miss Rainey works on Saturday at the bar. So thank you, Dev. You have 2 more people for me. Tiff, I did get those emails that you sent to Fools as well, which I've pulled them up, and I think that's when I got sick and I kind of forgot about them. So I apologize. But if you have 2 other ones, then I would absolutely love to hear those as well. Okay, no problem, Tiff. And even if you sent him to Fool, since you still have his, he can forward it to me as well. So whichever you prefer. But I did end up putting that Chaos and Criminals email in my profile channel part, so you didn't have to go through crap to try to find it. I was trying to make it easy, and hopefully it's a little bit better. So Furry, I appreciate that. Thanks for stopping in. So gotta get okay. Bye Web Shooter. Thank you for stopping in. Yes, Mike, I did get a forwarding tracking number, so I will make sure Red is aware of that, because I believe it's showing up on Saturday, and I think Red will be here Saturday. He hasn't said he's gonna go. He hasn't said he's going anywhere, but I'll ask him if he'll pick that package up off the front doorstep. So, am I going to read it? Furry, I wanna, if it's a bigger one, I'd like to look it over. The reason why I say that is because if it's a big case, I like to look at a lot of different articles, listen to podcasts, listen to videos, and either write my own or give additional information if that makes sense. So I would like to try to put a spin on it myself when it's a bigger one. And I think that's something I'm going to start doing, is doing these little things, but targeting maybe one big one per week. That way you're getting more content, I guess, is the plan. Ohio Tree Killer. Is that the one where he was obsessed with the leaves? I'm just curious. Thank you, Furry. There was one guy who was a creepo, and he would hide in the trees, and he liked leaves. Oh, Mike, that just gave me the chills. Nope, no thank you. I will look into it. Thank you, Donna. I get claustrophobic. That just freaked me out. Clowns I can be okay with. Fools will tell you, if he's still here, I am not okay being in a small area at all. Unless I put myself there and I have a way out. No, thank you. But, oh, okay. Okay, Mike, that makes sense. Because I'm like, nope. I would just say, please get rid of me before you put me in a tiny spot. So, why don't I write my own crime novel? Time. Time. I'd love to tell you I have all the time in the world to do all the things that I'd love to do, but maybe not now, maybe later. You never know. I don't want to say I'll never do it, but right now I don't see that in the cards, at least for this rest of this year. Where's the homie? I don't know who the homie is. If the homie is fools, he's at work, and Red is in his own home. Just think if you bottle their character flaws into one villain. Thanks, Mike. Thanks. I'm gonna say I'm perfect and I have no character flaws at all. Ha ha ha, hilarious. Oh my hair. What's going on with my hair? Somebody asked, Tiffany was asking me about my hair. I got a haircut a little while ago. It's like looking shiny. I don't know. I got my split ends cut. Thank you, Kate. I appreciate you. All right, friends, I am going to let you all go. I hope you all have a wonderful evening. I may or may not do this tomorrow. It all depends on how much time I have. Carolyn, I appreciate you. And it was good to see you early this morning when you were probably getting up for work and you stopped by that long-ass live. So I appreciate you. Good night, everyone. Henry, thank you. Awesome. Awesome, Matthew. Okay, guys, I love you all very much. I appreciate your support, and I appreciate that you all enjoy this, because I love it. It's my favorite. It's gross, it's disgusting, it's unbearable, and it's sad, but I have a weird, morbid brain, I guess. So anyhow, I hope you all have a good evening. Okay, bye.